Piers Morgan going to change history. Mamdani wins New York mayoral election. Let's find out what the dipshits on the Piers Morgan show got to say about this situation.
For the first time in a long time, Democrats are waking up to that winning feeling. It's not quite a political earthquake, but it's definitely...
No, Democrats are not waking up to a winning... All right, dude. He has not finished one sentence. He's already wrong. No, Democrats aren't waking up to a winning feeling. Commies are. Communists are waking up to a winning feeling. There is nothing, even as much as you hate Democrats and hate the left or whatnot, there is nothing actually democratic about this. This is communism.
A sizable tremor, and the epicenter is right here in New York City, where I am at the moment. Zohran Mamdani is the newly minted mayor of America's biggest city, and the 34-year-old socialist wasted no time in aiming his firepower at President Donald Trump.
So Donald Trump.
So there's been a lot of talk about who's going to run against J.D. Vance in 2028, right? There's been a lot of talk about that. And people say AOC, right? People say AOC. People say Buttigieg. Nah, it's this guy right here. It's Zohran. This is who they're going to run. Because they claim he was born in America, right? Don't they claim he was born here? I could be wrong. Let's find out. I want to make sure, because I don't want to be retarded and be fat chat to be wrong. But don't they claim he was born here? I'm pretty sure they do. Was Zohran born in the U.S.? Yes. No, he's born in Uganda. He was born in Uganda. So, okay, maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Unless we're going to try and change the rules to make it to where he can run anyway.
Since I know you're watching, I have 4 words for you. Turn the volume up.
Check the DN sent me.
Well, Mayor Mamdani's socialist program is about to have an uncomfortable brush with reality. The jury is very much out on whether they can really deliver on government-run grocery stores, free buses and free childcare, among many other lavish pledges. But the verdict on his campaigning style is resounding, and Democrats nationally will be taking notes. President Trump may call him a crazed communist, but he knows a canny operator when he sees one. Mamdani ran a populist campaign, turbocharged...
All right. Let's check this real quick. Hold on a sec. I'll go ahead and pull that up. Before we get too far in this, I'll go ahead and pull that up, Tebow. Let's go ahead right here. Open this in a new tab so I don't dox myself. And Muslim leader says they have a plan to turn America into an Islamic state and have a Muslim president of the United States. They'll run for office, elect Muslim mayors, then elect Muslim school boards, start indoctrinating American children to Islam. One day you're going to be the president of the United States of America. Let's work towards that. Let's work towards the Muslim mayor. Next election comes, nominate people to the school board of education. Next election that comes here, nominate people to the local township. Begin the demographics change. People converted. There's a big, huge conversation going on. So here's the dealio. Let's take a listen. Let's take a listen. This is a minute and a half. Let's take a listen.
One day you're going to be the president of the United States of America. No one, go Michael Ali, who can stop you from becoming a president. Dream big, have a vision. Because if Barack Hussein Obama can be a president, Sohaib Jawad cannot be a
Very interesting how he mentions Barack Hussein Obama and definitely went all in on the middle name.
president. Tell him. He's going to be a president. He's talking about that the Muslims will take over Mecca. They used to laugh at him. What happened? What is Mecca now? What is Mecca? It's coming. Change is coming to America. And what is Allah telling us? Kuntum khayra ummatin. You are the best of nations. You're better than everybody else. That's what Allah is saying. Let's work towards that. Let's work towards a Muslim mayor. Next election that comes in, nominate people for the school board of education. Next election that comes here, nominate people for the local township. Begin the demographics change. People converted. There's a big, huge conversion going on in this country. Where are the converts? They just convert and they're gone in the wilderness. The other thing, children. Muslims have the highest population. Average, they did.
See, you want to make all your think of the children arguments about digital ID? How about the real think of the children argument? Yeah, isn't this the religion that part of their foundation is predicated on literally preying on children?
Pew Foundation did a research study, Pew Foundation, and they said that Muslim household average is 3.4 child per family. The white American has 1 child per family. We're already beating the march because these are voters.
Say the quiet part out loud.
In hospitals. These are voters. That's the way a politician looks at it. We have to change the framework and start looking at things from a different lens, different angle for future. You're not going to change society today in your lifetime, but you think about your
See, exactly what I'm saying. You don't have to change it today in your lifetime. So you were asking earlier, Cyborg was asking why they would try and create a social change for a world they'll never see, because they're trying to do, it's future-proofing for the next generations. Exactly. He just answered your question, Cyborg. Hunter, for a tin-banger, says, Zohran Mamdani does not know the way. Does not know the way.
Name one word that starts with G pronounced like J. Gentrification. Shoot, should have thought of that. I was just in San Francisco.
Shout out, Hunter. Thank you very much.
By social media, which focused on massive changes to a failing status quo. It's all very familiar to the man currently in the White House. And Mamdani is the first prominent Democrat in what feels like an age to campaign on something other than calling Trump a demonic fascist. So has Mamdani cracked the code for a Democratic revival, or could his individual triumph drag the party down a far-left rabbit hole to electoral oblivion? Joining me to debate all this on a massive night in US politics is PBD podcast Angry Patriot, Vincent Ashana, the co-host of Her Take and former Democratic strategist Lindy Lee, the host of Bet.
Lindy Lee's a moron. Lindy Lee's a moron. Like, she is one of the most ill-read figureheads for this sort of like the left movement. She is somebody who left the Democrats because of the failure of the Biden administration, but she did not leave her progressive principles behind. She just didn't like the fact that the progressives were losing. So she jumped ship to the right and is now trying to use the same progressive ideologies to usurp the right wing. She's a moron.
News, Mark Lamont Hill. I'm a journalist at The Grey Zone, Aaron Marte. So a great panel. Let me start with you, Vinny. You must be absolutely delighted that a self-declared socialist is now in charge of New York City.
Oh, Piers, being originally from Yonkers, New York, it's just, it's overwhelmingly just happy. Piers, if you told me, Piers Morgan told Vincent Oshana 20 years ago that New York City would elect a mayor who is a Muslim guy, who is a terrorist sympathizer, who is
Muslim guy, terrorist sympathizer? How did that whole never forget thing work out? Yo, thank you for the sub, Hunter. How did never forgetting work out? Guy, 9/11 was 24 years ago. That's it. That's all. Not even a quarter of a century of a year ago. So much for never forget.
Anti-cop who literally took a photo with a co-conspirator of the first World Trade bombing, Piers, I would laugh in your face, but guess what? The joke is on me. And I'm telling you right now, Piers, it's almost as if The Dark Knight, the movie, Bane is there. Bane is going to be Mamdani, and you wait to see what he's going to do to the city. Okay, and Piers, let me back.
Donald Trump needs to turn up the volume.
Up a little bit. Shame on the Republicans, first and foremost. They couldn't pick one good, energetic, pro-American patriot to run. No offense to Curtis Silva, but he's too old. He's too boring. All right, the campaign was horrible. Piers, and guess what? No American's going to vote for a guy with a red beret. I'm sorry. That's number one. Number
That's
two,
true. Berets are
Democrats.
Gay. Berets are gay. Dude, when you play in Resident Evil 4, you look at Krauser, you see these all jacked, he's got the scars and shit, like, yo, Krauser's awesome. Then you see the red beret, and you see these as comrade, you're like, yo, dude, Krauser gay as fuck.
All they had to put up to go against this guy, Piers, was a failed mayor, Eric Adams, who made it a sanctuary city, brought in all the illegals, crime went up, gave them money, gave them credit cards, put them in hotels, and then was like,
Matt.
Whoops, I'm sorry I made a mistake. It was the Democrat leadership that made me do it. Cut to Andrew Cuomo, okay? Talk about a governor that failed. The alleged sex scandal, whatever you want to call it, and then he killed how many thousands of poor old grandmothers and grandfathers did he kill in New York? And guess when he apologized, Piers? Not 2 years after, not 3 years, the day of the election, he goes, I'm sorry, I messed up, all right? Which is absolutely horseshit. And I'm sorry for my language, Piers, but New York is going to get a taste of their medicine. I hate to say it, Piers, but sometimes you got to let the kid touch the iron and let him burn himself until he learns his lesson.
No, he's wrong. In general, I agree. He's correct. In general, you gotta let motherfuckers make mistakes so they can learn from those mistakes. Here's the dealio, though. This is a mistake that will destroy this country in the long run. Because what was that video we just saw? What was that video we just saw? Dude, they want to infest and overrun. They want to usurp the United States as we know it, and they are doing as such. Dude, New York, me and Real Life Fake Wizard were talking about this on SNH like 3 weeks ago. This is an existential threat, because if it can happen in New York, it can happen anywhere. This is a first step. This is not a one-off, or at least they don't want it to be a one-off. This is a direct view of the upcoming playbook.
And they're going to learn their lesson in about 1 or 2 years. You'll see, Piers.
Well, like I thought, you're jubilant about what's happened. Let me go to Aramata. You were making a few expressions there as Vinny was unleashing. I mean, from my point of view, it's very interesting because you've got results last night, which overall, a lot of wins for the Democrats, obviously, which is a good thing if you're a Democrat supporter. But two very distinct types of win. You've got the moderates winning, and then you've got Mamdani winning in New York, who's a self-declared socialist. These are very different pathways.
He is not a socialist. He is a communist who knows the word communism is still pretty toxic. So he'll say socialist. Dude, Ant-Man 3. They've been priming us in our media to accept this. Ant-Man 3, which granted, nobody saw, so it wasn't particularly effective, but it was there nonetheless, had the famous fucking line, you know, I know socialism is a pretty charged word, but no but. Socialism bad, and Mamdani is not a socialist. He is a communist using the guise of socialism to fulfill his agenda, which socialism is bad too. This ain't any cabin for socialism. Socialism is not as bad because socialism hasn't led to 20 to 30 million deaths just due to starvation and, political murder. But it's pretty fucking up there. Yes, socialism is just communism light.
For the party to go, many people feel that it's going to be problematic to have someone like Mamdani, who is incredibly charismatic, rapidly becoming the face of the party, but a bit like with AOC and the others on the left, in a general election, highly unlikely to succeed with that kind of agenda. What do you think?
I think the people of New York showed that Mamdani is in touch with the grassroots of the Democratic Party and the majority.
The grassroots? Guys, I shared this on the stream yesterday, but I gotta do it again. I shared it on stream yesterday, but I gotta do it again. Alright, hold on. Talk to me about the grassroots right here. Tell me how Alex Soros is the grassroots. I'll wait. Bro, these political talking heads doing nothing but pushing an agenda based on lies, when right in front of our eyes we can see the truth. The fuck you mean, grassroots? Homie is partying it up with Alex Soros.
Of the country, if you can get past the fear mongering that we heard from Vinny about Mamdani being a terrorist sympathizer and all the other smears that are used to dismiss a progressive agenda. Yeah. He's not. He's just someone who believed that Palestinians are equal human beings. And for people devoted to the state of Israel, they can't understand that concept because they're Jewish supremacists, or they've internalized Jewish supremacy.
Y'all know me. Y'all know my channel. You know that I'm not pro-Israel. I'm also not pro-Palestine. I'm pro, shut the fuck up and let them fight it out themselves. It ain't got shit to do with us, and I don't give a fuck. But pro-Jewish supremacy? Come on now. That's a little fucking far. Look, I'm a good Christian boy from the Midwest. I don't give a fuck about the Jews. I don't give a fuck about the Islamics, the Muslims. I give a fuck about whether or not you're going to lower my goddamn taxes. That's what I give a fuck about. Fuck you mean Jewish supremacy?
Everybody else understand that in this era of Democrats and Republicans supporting a genocide, supporting an assault on working people, someone like Mamdani is a reasonable alternative. Yes, he calls himself a democratic socialist. If you look at his policies, they're incredibly moderate. He wants to establish free buses.
Yes, free everything is moderate. Free buses, free healthcare, state ran grocery stores. That's moderate. This is the type of dude. If you are to the right of Bernie Sanders, you are a far-right extremist.
It's for working people. He wants to freeze the rent in rent-stabilized apartments. He wants to provide universal child care. All these policies are wildly popular. The difference is, and what's radical about him, is that he's centering working people. He's talking about issues that actually impact average people's lives. Donald Trump.
No, it impacts stupid people. Because stupid people won't ask the obvious question that Zalozzi asked. So who pays for it all? Yeah, to your broke motherfucker, to your broke single mom that left, either left the husband or didn't do anything to find a stable two-parent household because they can get better government benefits raising a child on their own. Yeah, they're not going to ask, where's this coming from? Because they don't care. Because they're a fucking retard. So to them, free shit sounds good.
Promised to do all the things that Mamdani has talked about, but he hasn't. He's just delivered for his billionaire backers and the cabinet that backs them up. So Mamdani, unlike everybody else pretty much in U.S. politics, with some exception, is actually speaking to average people's needs, including on the issue of Israel-Palestine, where people were just fed up with both parties supporting genocide in Gaza.
Okay, Mark Lamont Hill.
Aaron, if you don't mind me, Piers, can I just say one thing?
Quickly,
Aaron, did he not take a photo with the co-conspirator of the first World Trade bombing? Did he not take a photo with that? Hold on, smiling, and I'm pretty sure you didn't say anything. And all that stuff that you said, all that cool free
I'll
stuff.
Respond. Yes.
Who's going to pay for it? Who is going to pay for it? Who is going to pay for it? I'm just...
Dude, this guy looks like, the guy on the right looks like Freddie Prinze Jr. if he ate nothing but soy. Like, dude, it's Freddie Prinze Jr. on an all-tofu diet.
Cheers. By the way, and show me one time that this has worked. Venezuela, Cuba, Soviet Union. Okay. Give me an example. Give me a case study. And hold on. Don't smile. Okay. I'll come with you. I'm all in. Show me when it worked, and I'll buy it. I'll buy it. Go ahead.
Freddie Soy Jr. Exactly.
To answer your questions in order, in the course of campaigning, where candidates take pictures with literally thousands of people, he appeared in one photo with someone who was identified as an unindicted co-conspirator in a bombing he was never even charged for. So yes, people take photo ops all the time.
Yeah,
Andrew Cuomo.
Unindicted meaning what? He was in the room.
Excuse
me.
Give
me a break, bro. Give me a break.
That's not what that means.
Andrew Cuomo has taken pictures with actual war criminals, unlike Zohran Mamdani, who rejects.
Andrew Cuomo is also the fucking devil. What are we talking about here? Again, I don't particularly like Vinny. I don't think he has an effective way. The way that he keeps droning on and yelling and not letting the dude answer his question, I think that's an ineffective method. But at no point did he say anything pro-Cuomo.
The endorsement of war criminals. In terms of how he's going to pay for it, he's already said he's going to tax the ultra wealthy a little bit more, who already make.
All right. What qualifies as the ultra wealthy? And what happens when they fucking flee New York City? Because they don't want to be goddamn taxed. You cannot tax the impoverished, or you cannot tax the wealthy into wealth for the impoverished. That's just not how the fucking world works.
All the money in the world. That's who he's going to pay for his popular social programs. He's not proposing anything like we've seen in Cuba.
They're all leaving. And guess who's leaving? Guess who the mass exodus is going to be? Guess who the mass... And just out of curiosity, they're going to leave. Hold on, you know what you're not talking about? Who is going to come to New York? Who's going to come to New York? He wants to let people out of prisons. Okay, think about it. He wants to give away free stuff. Hold on, and he's pro-illegal. What the hell's going to happen to New York? You're missing the whole point.
I'll tell y'all what's going to happen in New York. I'll show y'all what's gonna happen in New York. This right here is what's gonna happen from New York. Look at that. Look at all that. Except for they ain't gonna have no masculine men to defend it, to protect it. This is what's gonna happen in New York. But without Snake Plissken and hotties with bodies with giant jugs. We ain't gonna get no dope ass eye patch wearing hides with bodies with men and hides with bodies with giant jugs. Just saying. That's what's going to happen in New York.
People
wanna
like
talk about the mass
you,
exodus,
people like
which
you
are the
want
people that are
to,
gonna
people
pay
like
for it.
you. Okay, Benny, listen. People like you want to give away free stuff to foreign governments like Israel to slaughter innocent civilians. Zohran Mamdani wants to use government resources.
When have I ever said I'm pro-Israel? When have I ever said that?
Listen,
don't put words in my mouth.
By
okay?
adopting
I pray for the innocent. I pray for the innocent women and children of Palestine. Okay. Don't put words in my mouth because you don't know me, but I know this spiel. And you had to bring up Donald Trump. You always, and this is the problem, Piers, why these people have no leaders, no vision, no message. Because for 8 years you've been saying Trump, Trump, and when the dust settles, you have nobody.
You guys hired
guys. You got a socialist.
Time out, guys. Time out. I want to bring in, we've got 2 other panel members. I want to bring them in. Martin Lamont Hill, you know, here are the things about Mamdani, which I like. He's very charismatic. He's got a very clear identity, I think, about what he stands for. He's an unashamed.
He's got a very clear identity, all right. Well, I don't know. I think we can call it an opaque identity. It's, he's quite dark.
Socialist. So he just says, this is what I am. It's something admirable about someone who says, these are my political colours. That's fine. I may not agree with him. He's an Arsenal fan, a very big Arsenal fan. He's been talking about it this morning. So he's clearly got immaculate taste when it comes to his football teams. But here's the issue, isn't it, Mark? For the party, I think, it's if he turns out to be a massive success in New York, hallelujah, he might be the guy who ends up becoming the president, right? And the Democrat superstar. Here he is now in charge of the biggest city in the country on a very socialist agenda.
Again, he was born in Uganda. But here we are saying he could become the president. Don't tell me for a moment they ain't going to try and pull shit like that. Oh, well, Trump's talked about running for a 3rd term. That's against the rules. So we can go ahead and start putting in people that weren't even born here. Actual free expression, whatever, a 5-banger. Here's a dono. I'm going to have to take a break for a bit for my membership. Words will re-up. Hey, dude, that's A-okay. That's A-okay. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Just as long as you show up, hang out, have fun, have dialogue. Like, that's more important. Now, do I appreciate donos and memberships and whatnot? Absolutely. It's what allows me to continue to do this. That being said, I never want you guys to go without your means. Unlike socialists, unlike communists, I don't want to take, seize the means of production and steal from you guys outside your means. So do what you can. I appreciate it because I'm a capitalist. So, thank you very much, homie.
No offense, but it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
Of giving all this stuff away. We've kind of seen a parallel for this in the UK with the Labour government who got swept in over a year ago with a massive majority, and it's already crumbling at the seams. They're about to launch a massive tax raid on pretty much everybody. They're incredibly unpopular, and it's all gone pear-shaped very, very quickly. If that happens with Mamdani in New York, conversely, it becomes a referendum on the Democrats that their big star turned out to be, a wolf in sheep's clothing. When was the last time you truly trusted the seafood you brought home? I used to second guess everything.
Normally we let the ad reads play out, because we're using other creators' content. Piers Morgan really don't need the money. He's doing just fine.
Wolf in sheep's clothing would be a bit of a leap. Even if he were somehow not successful. But I think that there are a few issues on the table here. One, we continue to call him a socialist. And I think it's important to reiterate that he identifies as a democratic socialist, right? And
explain the difference, buddy. Explain the difference between a socialist and a democratic socialist. Because so far as I can tell, policy-wise, it's the exact same thing. The only difference is a democratic socialist will allow themselves to be elected into office before they start putting all their socialist and communist propaganda out in the world, rather than murdering the guy in charge to take the position. That's the only difference I can think of.
There are different types of socialism, and democratic socialism does not support the abolition of private property. It is not saying that there's no democratic elections. Many of the kind of boogeyman references that are made to socialism don't apply to Mamdani's vision or...
Explain how. For the love of Christ, explain how they don't make, because they got the word democratic in front. That's not how it works, sonny boy. Got carry mine for $8. Thank you. That's a weird number to throw out there, but I appreciate it. I'm playing Silent Rumble. What you're on the game? For me, it's all right. I haven't played it yet. I haven't downloaded. I haven't played it yet. I've been doing so many other things, but I do have Sonic Rumble downloaded. Yeah, dude, shout out. Thank you so much for the dono. Truly appreciated. Let's see. We'll go ahead and give you this one right here.
How you doing, sir? Good. Can we talk to you? Where are you from? You live in New York?
Who are you?
Don Lemon.
You're a fucking moron, dude.
All right, shout out. Let's get back to this.
Is self-identification any more than it does to AOC or any more than it does to Bernie Sanders. I think one of
You're right. You're right. It applies the same to AOC and Bernie Sanders, who are fucking socialists at best, commies at worst. We don't like those two either. How you saying this like it's some sort of win, my guy?
things we've learned in the last few years is that Democrats have played it far too safe. They're not speaking to people's needs. They're not speaking to people's interests. Speaking to the fact that people need the rent to stay stable, that they need access to food, clothing, and shelter. That's what Mamdani is doing.
Those are not human
and
rights.
If for some reason he were not to be successful and didn't have a great mayoral administration, I don't think it would be fair to say that I see that as a referendum on his ideology any more than all the other unsuccessful mayors and governors around the country or presidents around the country and the world who have had unsuccessful campaigns as capitalists and imperialists and fascists. We don't say, oh, maybe we should.
Dude just threw out all the buzzwords. Unsuccessful campaigns as imperialists, capitalists, and fascists. First of all, those are all three wildly different things. I'm pretty sure you just looked up some buzzwords on X, and I'm very, surprised you can pronounce them. Like, give me an example instead of just throwing out some word salad. I'm sorry, I say salad. I imagine the dude does not eat salad, so he's got that going for him.
Try something different. Sometimes it's about changing the driver, and sometimes it's about changing the direction. What we saw in New York last night was that New Yorkers want to do both. They wanted new leadership, but they also want a new vision. And I think that that's something that Democrats should follow.
Yes, they want a new vision. Being Democrat for the last 20 years hasn't helped, hasn't worked out. So our new vision, let's go even further left. And see, this whole democracy thing, this whole Democrat policy stuff ain't working. But have you tried communism?
Oh, because the way they've been working so far has not been working.
Okay, literally, the thing that I would be concerned about if I was Donald Trump and the Republicans is that the running theme behind all the successes the Democrats had last night was affordability. And there's no doubt the cost of living crisis coming out of the pandemic, inflation continues.
And this is why New Yorkers are fucking retarded. Democrats have been running on affordability for 20 plus years in New York. And it's never worked. Why would it work now under fucking socialism?
Continuing, Trump can claim some wins in bringing some prices down, others not so good. But this ongoing running saw of the
and yes, guys, I know we're a constitutional republic. That's not what I meant.
The bottom bracket of society in America is not going away. People feel angry enough now to vote for people who they think are going to tackle.
And you know what? Honestly, Paul is correct. Paul in the chat is correct. Bernie was sabotaged by the DNC. I'm not a Bernie supporter, by the way. I'm not a Bernie supporter in the fucking slightest. I can't stand his policies. I think they would be disastrous for America. But my personal feelings about Bernie and his policies aside, that is an objectively true statement. Bernie was sabotaged by the DNC. He would have defeated Trump in 2016. Yes.
As a priority, affordability. It's been very striking to me that Mamdani, he doesn't want to get involved much in foreign affairs. He wants to focus specifically on the ability of really impoverished New Yorkers who can't afford their groceries, who can't afford to rent a home, and so on.
Him making this argument about foreign affairs doesn't matter. He's the fucking mayor. He doesn't have any control over foreign affairs. He runs the fucking city.
That has been something that's resonated. There's no doubt about that.
Mark, respectfully, it's great to be here with you, but I got to address some of the claims that you made. This guy literally said he wants to seize the means of production, okay? We're not slapping a communist label on him just for our shits and giggles. He literally said this himself. And Aaron, as someone who has fundraised for Democrats who's been in the game for a very long time. I can tell you that politicians at a high level, they vet every single person in the room. You better believe that no random person can just take a photo with Kamala Harris or Joe Biden. We vetted them. Someone actually who owed $40,000 to the IRS is booted out of the room because they didn't want him to be seen with Joe Biden, okay?
Dude, like, again, excuse me, I'm not a fan of this gal. I'm not. Again, I've called around her bullshit multiple times. But when you're right, and she's objectively correct. And I love that the identity politics here are going to flail and fall apart. Because it shows that the identity politics on the left are bullshit. They don't care that she is a female minority. Because she has a different opinion than them, they're going to treat her just like they would any cis white man. Like, oh, so you don't actually care about the underrepresented groups. You don't care about the fact that she's a female and she's a minority or whatnot. Because to you, since she has a difference of opinion, she's the same as those filthy straight white dudes.
So this is this is very intentional on his part for you to say, oh, it was just some random dude who showed up. And not only did he take a photo with him, he decided to compliment him. That was a conscious decision. But Piers, going back to what you said, he did a good job of campaigning on affordability, yes. But I also want to remind folks that we were heading in the right direction, so much so that Jerome Powell decided to lower interest rates not once but twice. So it takes a long time to bounce back from the mess that Joe Biden got us in, but we are moving in the right direction. And frankly, I know, Vinny, I love you to death, babe. I know you're upset about this, but I think this is the biggest gift for Republicans that we could possibly hope for. Because honestly, Marxist Mamdani, Rashida Tlaib, AOC, Jasmine Crockett, these people being the face of the Democratic Party is exactly what I want to run on going into 2026.
Look, in a sense, I get what she's saying. I do. But I think she's being too hopeful. Because when you've got an infestation of individuals with this toxic, and I hate that word, but it's true here, with this toxic political ideology that will do anything they can to win, and then they can appeal to stupid voters, oftentimes illegal voters, oftentimes minority voters that do not share our fundamental American values, it's not really going to matter. Especially with, let's be real, if I'm going to be 100% honest, I'm going to say something a lot of y'all aren't going to want to hear. This has been a pretty shit regime for Trump so far. It has. It's not been good. Bowing and kowtowing to Israel, the failure of the Epstein files, this has been a very fucking awful administration for Trump so far. So they got nothing to stand on in 2026 if they don't start changing shit now. People don't want their fucking money going to Israel as much as they don't want it being fucking taken by these commies. Alright? People want to know why we let a global cabal of pedophiles rape children for God knows how many years, and then we see nothing from it. People want to know why the fuck ain't that swamp that was promised to be drained been drained. So no, Trump 2.0 has been a fucking failure. Whether you guys, and again, I know a lot of y'all on the right because I have a lot of viewers on the right, and that's A-okay. I appreciate you and appreciate the difference of opinion. I know a lot of y'all don't want to hear it, but it's true. Trump 2.0, in my opinion, minus some bright spots, has been an abject failure. So what do they really have to run on in 2026?
Okay, I want to just hold. Let me just hold the panel there. Let me hold the panel for a moment.
Yeah, because
I'm going to come back to the panel in a moment. I want to just bring in Frank Luntz, the pollster extraordinaire. Frank, your take on last night. I thought it was a very interesting set of results. Obviously, overall, a good night for the Democrats, but pulling in two very, very different directions: moderate, and then the Socialist in New York.
The race, to me, that was by far the most important, didn't even feature a candidate. It was the ballot initiative in California, which some of your audience won't know much about, but that's going to allow the Democrats to completely rewrite the borders, the districts, the lines that'll determine which voters vote in which areas. And that's going to give the Democrats...
Mind you, this is the exact same thing that the left was throwing a bitch fit that Texas was doing. But it's okay when they do it in California.
5 or maybe even 6 additional House seats. Now, Republicans had done it before in Texas. Democrats had a really bright smart usage of language on the ballot to help them win that race, but it wasn't even close. And Piers, that shift may well determine who controls Congress in 2026, and that's going to change history as we know it. That was the most significant race. I know it doesn't get the kind of yelling or kind of passion that the New York mayoral race does, but I'm telling you that the California voters have absolutely changed, have uprooted what was going to happen in America, and that's going to be the big story that we're going to be talking about for months and even for years.
Yeah, really, really interesting. And I don't disagree with you at all. It's a seismic thing that happened in California. But on the point about the direction of the Democrat Party, Mamdani is now the standout superstar of the party. And he's come from nowhere. And he's like this incredibly charismatic. I watched his speech last night. He's taking it to Trump and so on. You know, I can see a lot of young Democrats in particular cheering him on, thinking this is great. But his politics are very, very different, for example, to somebody like Abigail Spanberger, who won in Virginia. Which way is the party going to go? Which is more electable? Can you win a general election in America, do you think, if you are a self-declared socialist?
Absolutely not. And the party is going in both directions. And the progressives had a great win yesterday, and a significant win. And they finally have a spokesman who's incredibly articulate and powerful. And that helps the Bernie Sanders AOC wing of the party. The one who's probably most upset this morning is Chuck Schumer, because his Democratic Party is disappearing. On the Republican side, the party is no longer the party of Ronald Reagan. It's all about Donald Trump and his accolades. Both parties are moving in those directions.
It shouldn't be the party of Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan Republicans were fucking retarded. You telling me that their anti-2A and no-fault divorce shit was traditional conservatism? Look, I like some of the economics of Reagan. I ain't gonna lie. I think Reaganomics work. But there's more to the Republican Party, the Conservative Party or whatnot, than economics. And Reagan-era right-wingism was far too big government for me.
Away from the center. And in the end, there are going to be more and more Americans who look at both Republicans and Democrats and say, I can't vote for any of you. But Piers, you know I've been on this now for several years. I think the loser last night isn't the Republican Party. It's actually the American people. Because I see both parties rejecting the center, both parties rejecting a common sense approach and moving in these ideological directions. That does fire people up. That does excite younger people and excite people on the fringes. But in the end, there's so many Americans who believe that our democracy is not working anymore, as they do in the UK. And they believe that they're looking for someone with common sense, someone who is a centrist. And this is not necessarily where I stand. This is where the American...
They're not looking for a centrist. If they were, Mamdani wouldn't have been voted in. Like, let's be real. The youth are not looking for a centrist. The youth are looking for any... So here's the dealio. The modern day youth have grown up in a time where they feel like America has never been in a positive. Or even worse, they feel like he was positive but not perfect under Barack Obama. And they're looking for an acceleration of that because they were young and they didn't understand how absolutely terrible Obama-era policies in the administration was. So they are looking for radicalization. They're just looking for radicalization in the most professional fashion. They're looking for radicalization with decorum.
People stand, and they don't see anyone who's speaking for them.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. I mean, do you see anybody on the horizon for the Democrats, for example, that would fit that bill? A new Bill Clinton-y figure?
Absolutely. Cory Booker, the senator from New Jersey. Westmore.
That's your answer? Cory fucking Booker? The dude who's most famous for being married to the girl from Clerks 2? That's your... Bro.
Or the governor of Maryland. Mitch Landrieu, the former mayor of New Orleans. These are people who focus on getting stuff done. Booker was formerly the mayor of Newark, turned that city around. And they have a record of accomplishment, a record of results, which is what the American people are looking for. And they practice
If the American people were looking for that, then why didn't Booker trounce Biden during the 2020 elections? Booker was on the ticket, to become the primary become the primary politician for presidency in the 2020 election. Booker got fucking steamrolled by Kamala Harris. Like, I don't know if y'all remember how unpopular Kamala Harris was. She was polling like 2%. Booker got steamrolled by her. Honestly, Jeremiah, I agree. Fetterman would have been a good answer. Fetterman would have been a very good answer.
Accountability in what they do. They're not focused on Washington. They're not ideological. They would not come on this show and yell at each other. They would come to listen, learn, and lead. 3 Democrats that can make a difference. I'm going to repeat this so people check them out. Go on to YouTube to see their speeches. Go to Wikipedia to see their backgrounds. Cory Booker, New Jersey. Wes Moore, Maryland. And Mitch Landrieu, Louisiana. Incredible leaders. Focused on results. And I know I sound like a Democrat, but I know that's what the American people are looking for right now.
Putting your predictive hat on, take me forward to the midterms and then the general election. So 2026 first, then 2028. As things stand, what do you think is going to happen in both?
I've studied this. I know what history says, and history says the Democrats are going to win the House races, maybe not the Senate, because the majority is too much in favor of the Republicans. But after last night in California voting the way that it did, if I were a betting man, I'd bet on the Democrats winning the House.
I think he's 100% correct. I do. I think he is 100% correct. Not only that, but historically speaking, there is a normalcy of the House flipping against the sitting president's political ideology, against the party. The House often flips against the incumbent. So yes, I do think he is correct.
Narrowly. Republicans keeping the Senate very narrowly, and the country once again going at each other. And we're going to have the most amazing election in 2028. If you were entertained by 2020 and a little bit scared about 2024, 2028 is going to be like The Godfather 2. It's going to be even better than what we saw in terms of competitiveness. My concern is whether or not it's better in terms of bringing voters back in, having them have faith, trust, and confidence in the American political system. Because in the end, Piers, ratings don't matter. I know they do for you. They don't matter for America. Money doesn't matter. Happiness matters. Success matters. Trust and confidence in the system of government. Our patriotism matters, and our country matters.
Yeah, patriotism doesn't exist amongst half the country. We talked about this yesterday in regards to going over everything that was happening in Australia. Half the country not only is not patriotic, but outright vilifies the idea of patriotism. So no, I don't think it actually does matter. I don't think patriotism, one way or the other, is what causes votes.
And I'm hoping that we will put people, truly, not a slogan, put people above politics in the years to come.
And Frank, finally, do you expect Donald Trump to try and change the rules so he can run again in 2028, or is he just trolling the libs, as he would put it?
I fully expect him to talk about it. I fully expect him not to do it. It is so clear what needs to be done, and there isn't enough time to get it done, but he wants to stay relevant. And I know.
And I find that to be a mistake as well. I find that to be a mistake. It's fun to troll the left. It's fun to talk about 3-term Trump, right? This shit's funny. I laugh at it. But MAGA needs to move the fuck on. MAGA is Make America Great Again. It's not Trump. It's about making America great again. We need to be spending this time not only celebrating Trump's victories, the few and far between they've been under this current administration, but promoting J.D. Vance as the up-and-coming individual that has the torch passed to him to be the new face of MAGA. That's what needs to happen. Like, when Trump is gone, MAGA falls apart unless MAGA has a clear and obvious successor. I think Vance has been doing a very good job marketing himself as such. I don't know that Trump has been doing a good job of marketing Vance as such.
that you and I have had these conversations now for about 10, 15 years. I know I sound different than what I used to, but we're in a different situation than what we used to be in. And I would hope that the president would acknowledge that things are very difficult for a lot of people, that they're challenged. The Democrat on your show who talked about affordability, and Piers, that's your message.
I agree, Paul.
That is absolutely correct. If you can't afford your home, you can't afford your health care, if you can't even afford your fuel or your food, you're in trouble.
But why can't they afford it? Why can't they afford it? Because of the left. Normally, I would blame the uniparty. But there is no uniparty in a place like New York that is a left-wing stronghold. There is not a Republican Party to be a back-end evil boogeyman with the left, because the left just outright controls it. The uniparty is more of a national thing. But when you get down, or maybe even a state thing, but when you get down to the city level, there's no right wing for there to be a uniparty with. So yeah, how do you convince people that the individuals, that the party they've been voting for consistently for 20 fucking years plus is the reason they're in these problems, when that same party keeps promising them, here's your free shit, here's your free bus ride, here's your state-ran grocery stores, here's $10,000 a month in food stamps, even for illegal immigrants. By the way, we don't check IDs when it's time to fucking vote! Shout out Gamer Empress for the raid. How you doing, you beautiful bitch? I love you, girly.
And we need these people working together for all of us so that this affordability is addressed, this confidence is restored, and in the end, we have the country and the system that we deserve.
Frank, that's brilliant to have you on after such a big night for American politics. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Piers. I appreciate it.
Let's go back to the panel. Aaron Mate, I mean, as always, Frank cuts through a lot of the kind of tribalism and made some really good points there. What did you think about what he said?
Today's show is sponsored by Oxford Natural, makers of the Optimum Day and Optimum extension deadline has passed. Books are a mess. Experts will determine save. Call 1-800-958-1 Network.
All right, here we go.
I think he's recognizing that Republicans have a real problem. Donald Trump campaigned successfully on the problem of affordability, the price of eggs, the price of other staples, but has come to office, and what has he done? He's cut Medicaid. He's now providing over a government shutdown in which 42 million people who need SNAP benefits to get food are being...
No. Look, government shutdown's fine. Government shutdown ain't fucking real. 8% of the fucking government's not working. Whoop-de-doo. Shut it down more. Don't even shut down more. Fire more. We don't need the government. It's nothing but bloat. All right? And the Democrats didn't want to have shit in their bills about, I don't know, free fucking healthcare and food stamps and whatnot for people that shouldn't be in this country. This shutdown wouldn't be happening. Now, frankly, like I said, I don't think enough of the government shut down. Burn it all to the ground. I don't give a fuck. You know your boy's an anarchist. That being said, let's not sit here and pretend the shutdown is Trump's fault. It's not. And I just spent the last hour railing against Trump, so I feel like I'm being pretty fair and unbiased here, because I do think this Trump administration, this first year of Trump's presidency, Trump 2.0, has been a failure. But this is one of the few things where it's not a failure, nor is it his fault.
Being denied it because of his party's refusal to extend healthcare subsidies for millions of people. And what is he offering people that who he promised that he'd make America great again? Nothing. He just recently bragged about how he's redecorating the White House, built a new bathroom. How does that help average people? And that's the fundamental problem. Trump successfully tapped into real discontent. I'll give him credit for that. He tapped into real outrage over Democratic Party elite failures. But now you have someone in the face of Zohran Mamdani and his grassroots movement actually talking about the issue of affordability while presenting concrete proposals. And I think Frank Luntz is very correct to recognize that for Republicans, who are the current party in power, they control the White House and both chambers of Congress, that this is a real problem for them. And by the way, also...
Yeah, it is a real problem. It is a real problem. And you want to know what? You want to know how to fix this problem, Republicans? Like, look me in the eye. Look me in the eye, Republicans, right-wingers, conservatives, in politics. Obviously not you guys in the chat. You want to know how to fix this? Tell Israel to go fuck themselves. Quit sending money and support to fucking Israel. We don't give a fuck about Israel. You want step numero uno to bring back some good fucking faith? Kick Israel to the goddamn curb and release those motherfucking Epstein files. That's how you do that.
Piers, if I may, on this issue of this pastor who keeps coming up, this Muslim leader who Zohran Mamdani took a photo with. Again, if you look at the specifics of that case,
thank you, Commodore. Thanks,
he
Jesse.
was an unindicted co-conspirator, former terrorism prosecutor, later criticized his inclusion in a list in that case because basically some of the suspects.
EB makes it very good. Yes. EB put in the chat, and I will reiterate it here. I am not suicidal. I am not suicidal, even though I'm saying Netanyahu can go fuck himself. By all means, bomb all the brown people in Gaza you want. I don't give a shit. Just don't use our money to do it. Bomb them all. I'm not suicidal. Hey, yo, let's find out about them Epstein files and why there are people on the left and the right and Hollywood actors and musicians and pretty much anyone with money and status and control raping children. I am not suicidal.
In the World Trade Center bombing attended his mosque around the time of the bombing. So that's like basically
Wow, this is the hill you choose to die on. You are still apologizing for this guy. Wow,
I can't believe that.
That's like, excuse me, I'll finish my sentence. I'll finish my sentence. I'll finish my sentence. That's like, excuse me, I'll finish. I didn't interrupt you. I'll finish my sentence.
Manny Katan, this stream is monetized, but honestly, it's going members only after this, which means I really won't get any revenue for it. So for those of you that would like to donate to your boy to make sure I can continue to do this, it would be appreciative. Because, yeah, the monetization's probably gone on this at this point.
That's like blaming the pastor of George W. Bush's church for the Iraq War. And these are the smears of people who can't contend with the fact that you have a candidate in Zohran Mamdani who has grassroots support, record turnout in New York City, and is galvanizing people on the issues that impact their lives.
I think there's an even... I apologize. I think there's even
co-conspirator, meaning they can't prove that he was in the room, but he was in the room.
No, they can't prove anything. They just the first place. It's a red herring. Give it up.
Bro, are you literally trying to stick up? Are you really trying to stick up for this guy? Are you really trying to stick up for this guy?
Yes, I am.
And Piers,
he's a respected Muslim leader who didn't do anything wrong. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. You're desperately trying.
I'm very desperate. Piers, mind you, on Sunday, Mamdani was in a gay club. And the gay club pandering to the gay people to try to get votes. And let me explain something to you. People were like,
what do you mean pandering to gay?
What do you mean? Muslim, right?
What do you mean?
See, that's what I was about to bring up. Yes, pandering to gay people. Mamdani's a Muslim. Muslims don't like homos. Muslims throw gays off roofs and shit. Muslims are like, oh, rainbow flag? Like, yeah, I would consider that pandering to the gay folk. Yo, shout out, Hugo. Thank you for the gift of membership, man. Truly appreciated.
Holy shit, I'm gonna come.
Pandering to gay people.
He was pandering.
You mean trying to campaign
because I'm
going to
finish right now because there's something.
Okay,
you know where he's from? Uganda. Do you know how Uganda treats gay people? Have you been to Uganda?
Yes.
Have you heard what Ugandans do?
Is Zohran Mamdani responsible for
he's a Muslim dude from there.
This is what I'm talking
about. And what he's practicing, Piers, what he's practicing is called taqiyya, okay? It's a practice in Islam, all right, Piers, that you deceive and you lie about stuff just to have people to further your Islam agenda. You're being
hang on,
duped, bro. You're being duped. He's a liar.
Hang on, Vinny. Hang on, just because he's from Uganda doesn't mean he agrees with all the policies of Ugandan governments. All the laws.
No, he's Muslim, Piers. He's Muslim. He's Muslim. How do Muslim people feel towards gays? Are you guys lost?
It's not being bigoted to state an objectively true thing, such as Muslims, by their own religious doctrine, don't like the gays. Like, what are we talking about here? That's not bigoted. It's an objective fact. Again, this is why the left is so infuriating. While your boy doesn't like the right, this is why the left will always be worse, because you could take an objectively true statement, but because it doesn't coincide with their inside feely parts, they'll call you racist and bigot and homophobe and Nazi and insert any instant phobe here. Dude's being called a bigot for talking about an objective fact about the Muslims.
Bigot.
Are you lost?
Well, there are many Muslims who have no problem with gays.
That's Muslim, bro. That's a Muslim.
Yeah, but there are many Muslims who have no problem with it.
Can I jump in a couple of facts here? Because this is all really...
Hang on. Let me bring in Mark and then Lindy. Mark.
Okay, a couple of things, just to inject some facts. One, taqiyya isn't about lying, and taqiyya is about concealing your faith as Muslim to get over the ostensibly...
Right, that is as exact... Okay, hold on. It's not about lying. It's about concealing your faith to get over on people. Yeah, so if you're a Muslim and you go to a gay bar to try and get gay votes, when your religion is anti-gay, come on, guys!
Times of danger. At no point has Mamdani pretended not to be Muslim. If he had, you wouldn't be here arguing like this. Second, yes, yeah, let me finish. Second, yes, he's from Uganda, where Muslims, where gay people often are harassed and killed, and there are anti-gay policies in Uganda. You know who they're organized by? Christians, not Muslims. If you just Google or read one book on Uganda, you'd understand that this is a Christian practice, not a Muslim practice. Third, when we talk about Siraj Wahaj, who's the...
Look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that Christians ain't never done bad shit to gays, right? That would be objectively wrong. However, I'm pretty sure all the major Islamic countries that are known for, like, just giving a little swan dive to the queer community aren't ran by Christians.
Mom, who he was in a photo with, there's absolutely no evidence that he was in the room with 9/11 conspirators. That's not even being alleged by the prosecutors.
We're not even talking about 9/11. We're talking about the World Trade Center bombing. Two different things.
Dude doesn't know the difference between the Trade Center bombing and the 9/11 attacks. What the fuck?
Please allow me to finish.
What I'm saying is World Trade number one.
Please allow me to finish.
You're not even getting the timeline right.
I accidentally said 9/11 as opposed to World.
You didn't accidentally say 9/11. You just don't fucking know, bro.
Trade Center. That's not the point. I concede. I said the wrong word. Now I'm going to replace the wrong word with the right word, which is World Trade Center. The point still is the prosecutors don't allege that Wahaj was in the room. So there's no evidence of that, even by the people who you're appealing to for evidence. Wahaj took a picture. A better comparable example would be when Donald Trump takes a picture with Joey Merlino, the convicted mob boss, right? He did it because he didn't know who Joey Merlino was. So
okay,
Wahaj,
but what about this? All right, Mark.
Who is not a terrorist. I don't want to claim imam and celebrated in Brooklyn for his acts in the community, and that's what he was being praised for.
Look, time out.
What does
guys,
co-conspirator mean
hang on, Lindy, hang on. I think we've discussed this particular part of the Mamdani story enough. Here's the thing that I find extraordinary, and it's this, Lindy, which is he's on record, Mamdani, as wanting to defund the New York Police Department.
Thank you, Piers.
And
I was just going to bring that up.
Hot take. Hot take. Y'all ain't gonna like this. Good. Go for it. Do it. Defund the New York Police Department. Oh, you mean defund the dogs of the government that threw you in jail because you dared not wear a fucking mask at a restaurant? Yeah, maybe we don't need to be paying those motherfuckers.
And calling them a bunch of racists. I would have thought, I mean, call me old-fashioned.
Yeah, you're right, Paul.
Anybody that literally posted that the racist NYPD should be defunded, that would be disqualifying to be mayor of New York. And yet here he is. Mayor of New York.
Why would that be disqualifying?
Pierce, amen. Thank
Why
you for
would that be
bringing
disqualifying?
This
to say
is
you
New York
should
City.
defund the NYPD.
Absolutely, New York City.
What's the answer to the question?
Mark, it's my turn.
Let Lindy go
finish.
first, and I'll let you respond.
I'm not cutting you off. I'm asking a question.
Please, let me finish. 40% of unsolved murders. This is New York City, the biggest city in the country, and 40% of murders have been unsolved. And he wants to defund the police? Yeah, okay. And then according to...
Again, thus I reiterate, 40% of murders are unsolved because they're too busy doing things like throwing you in jail for not wearing a fucking mask. Needless to say, the NYPD and how much they're getting paid and their funding and whatnot, not particularly high on my priority list because they are nothing but dogs of the government state in general. The NYPD are dogs of the left.
Some studies, 25% of New York, they want to flee because of his policies, okay? He's on a speedway to hell. And another thing is, Mark, I felt like I was talking to, what's his name? Frank Luntz. I felt like I was listening to a new age therapist. Like, is he crazy? He wants to put forward people like Wes Moore and Cory Booker. Let's go through his people. Like, for example, Cory Booker tried the presidential campaign thing already. He was polling at 1 to 2%. Okay, so we already tried that. The trial balloon failed. Number 2, Wes Moore, he lied about getting a Bronze Star. These are the people.
St. Hugo says, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. That was good.
Oh, that Frank Luntz wants to be the face of the Democratic Party? Then please, sounds good to me. And then he talks about the importance of Prop 50. Yes, it's important, but I also think it's a gift to Republicans because in this case, it allows Republicans to tie Gavin Newsom's failed policies to him. There's no way to disentangle the two. We are now able to tie $7 per gallon gas to Gavin Newsom. We can tie homeless encampments all across the state to Gavin Newsom. And you know what, Gavin Newsom, this is all about him running for 2028. This wasn't about the people of California. This was about him.
Bro, if they run Gavin Newsom in 2028, I'm going to have a ball. Content galore. Like, who is going to vote for that Ken doll? Barbie wouldn't vote for that Ken doll, as we saw with the movie.
Maybe.
Hang
on. Don't talk at once. Hang on. Okay, I'll come to you, Mark, in a moment. But Vinny, I did find, Mark was asking me, well, what's wrong with saying defund the NYPD? I think a lot. If somebody was running for mayor of London on a ticket of defund the Metropolitan Police, I would think that's completely disqualifying, right?
What does defunding mean,
the idea that you brand... Well, hang on, Mark, I'll come back to you.
Hold on, Mark. He asked me a question, Mark. What are you talking about, bro? You're the mayor of the city, and you're saying to defund the police department, and you don't think that's some...
Now, mind you, while I am pro defunding the police specifically in New York, I will also say that, yes, when the police are defunded, which they inevitably will be, the taxpayers paying for his private security ain't gonna go down in any way, shape, or form. He's certainly gonna continue to have all of his armed dudes in black outfits around him.
Crazy outlandish-ish to say.
Actually not
and just
saying
to piggyback,
that. He's actually
Piers,
not saying
when I tell you,
Well, he did say that.
God, listen,
he did say
Aaron,
Not during the campaign.
Aaron, your job
not during the campaign, but it is on his record.
Every single lie.
Yes, sure. Let him finish.
It's on his record. And let me explain something, Piers. A couple of lies. He hates billionaires, right? Who funded his campaign? Soros, okay?
Finally! We're fucking 35 minutes in, and it finally got brought up that his entire grassroots campaign was funded by fucking Soros. I showed this in a goddamn tweet before these motherfuckers got to it.
He lied about defunding the police. He said he took that back. He lied about his aunt wearing a hijab on the subway. She wasn't his aunt, and she wasn't in New York City. Hold on. And he wants to legalize prostitution. And he wants to legalize prostitution. Or am I lying about that?
No, he doesn't.
You have to stick up. Your narrative has to stick it. You have to. Because you're full of it, bro. And hold on, last thing, and I'll give you the floor.
Everything you just said is
and Lindy nailed it. Cory Booker, Westmore. Hold on, I'll give you the floor. Give me 10 seconds. Piers, you heard Frank Luntz, and Lindy's right. They want to name all these Democrats. What's the first order of business that Newsom, Cory Booker, Westmore, they're all going to do? Number one, they're going to open up the border because they love illegals, okay? That's going to be number one. So every American that's watching this, don't get it twisted.
Okay, Vinny.
The moment a Democrat comes into power, the border's wide open. And what are you going to do? Nothing. Because nobody in your family's getting freaking touched by it.
Wait,
so shut up.
Okay, wait. Don't all talk at once. Don't all shout at once.
Can I make just one quick point about the border?
Hang on. If you all talk, no one can hear any of you. Mark Lamont Hill, the floor is yours.
I'm gonna be real. None of them are worth listening to, but I am, and that's the difference. That's why y'all are here. They're not worth listening to, but your boy is.
Thank you. What I'm disputing here is how we're defining, or very interestingly, not defining defunding. You all are saying defunding and laying it out there, as many people have, which would suggest that he's saying, let's get rid of the police department and take care of all of, and get rid of all of its resources. That we're just going to fire the police.
No, nobody said that. No, nobody even alluded to that's what he meant by defunding the police. Defunding the police could be something as simple as we have given them a state grant budget for, let's say, $20 million. Now we're going to give them $15 million. Okay, that is still a defunding. They now have less resources to work with. And because of that, they are going to, let's use the little Asian gals, 40% unsolved crime statistic. Now it might be 45% unsolved murders. No one ever even alluded to him just getting rid of the fucking cops.
Which is not what he's saying. If he were saying that, that probably would be disqualifying to be mayor. What defunding means is taking money out of the police department and placing it in other departments where that work.
No. No, there's never been any indication the money would go somewhere else. Now, realistically, would it probably? Yes, it would. Democrats love to spend that money. But no, you're conflating two different things here.
Could be done. So when you give the example of, let me finish. So when you give the example of unsolved murders, defunding does not affect unsolved murders in that way. In fact, to the
Yes, it would. Yes, it would. If you defund the police, if you take financial resources away, then that is now less money that would go into, let's say, obvious things like evidence gathering, DNA testing. Maybe you now have to hire less cops because your department cannot afford it. By the way, I've already said I'm on board with defunding specifically the NYPD because they are not a real police force. They are dogs of the state, but that's neither here nor there. The fact of the matter is, yes, it actually would 100% contribute to a lessening of already that 40% unsolved murder rate.
contrary, it would help to solve murders, and I'll tell you how.
When detectives are still part of the police force, Manhattan, you're thinking a private detective. Private detectives do not solve cases on their own. Private detectives work with the established police force, but detective, the rank of detective is a rank within the police department.
When police come out right now, and I'm only telling you this as someone who's written several books on this and has been part of the defunding movement for a decade. So you can shake your head, but I'm only giving you facts. You can disagree with my approach, but I'm telling you what the actual defunding movement is. When we say defunding, what we're talking about is saying right now, if someone has a drug overdose or someone has a mental
bounty hunters exist to catch individuals, to catch alleged criminals on the run. But once they are caught, they are then delivered to the police. Now, bounty hunters often have agreements with local law enforcement in terms of financing and funding. So if you defund the police, then the police don't have the money to pay the bounty hunters the reward in general. So even then, bounty hunters aren't an answer to that.
health crisis, the police get sent out there. When someone is jaywalking, the police have to stop them and give them a ticket in many cities. We're using the police as tax collectors, as therapists, and as counselors. Defunding says, let's take some of those resources that we're making the police do for jobs that they shouldn't be doing, and let's give them to therapists, to social workers, to drug treatment counselors, and let the police focus on, I don't know, policing. And so defunding
he also called, but Mark, hang on. Mark, he also called
I just want to say accurately define defunding, even if you disagree with it.
I understand. No, I listened to you. You had the floor. But he also called the NYPD a racist organization. Racist.
Also, he said queer liberation.
No, hang on, Lindy. Hang on. Please, look. It's much easier if everyone answers the questions I pose to them. So let me just ask...
All right, hold on. Manhattan, let's say you've got an independent third-party company of forensic science individuals, right? Who would pay them to do the third-party analyzing? It would still be the police force. So the police force don't have the funds to pay the third-party forensic science company. That we're still running into the same problem. We're absolutely still running into the same problem here. Like nothing. I get what you're saying, but thus far, everything you said, what about this or this, ties back to the police funding the fact that it's being done. Why not from the DA office? Well, the DA's office there to prosecute the crimes. You've got to have so you have to have the investigation done to present the evidence to the DA for them to then do the prosecutions. Or you know, so yeah, I mean, it's still the DA is the second tier. That's where it goes after all the investigations and whatnot are done. Now you could say, why not have the DA, use that stuff instead? Well, they still got to collect that data and that information from the police. So where the money is at that point it's really not even relevant.
Mark, do you believe the NYPD is racist?
Yes.
All of them?
Oh God, there it is.
No, you just moved the goalpost. No, hold on.
Middle Easterns, they're all racist.
No, hold on. You asked me if the department was the institution, and then you just said all of them as in individuals. Do I think every police officer is racist? Of course not. But we're talking about systemic racism. It's just like saying the school system sucks. It doesn't mean every teacher sucks, but the system itself doesn't work.
Going after crime does not make you racist.
I agree, but shooting unarmed black people does.
Did he really just... Hold on. Did he really... Oh, Let's find out some statistics here. I'm just truly curious. Let's see. Just curious. I'll share my screen in just a sec, guys. All right. Just out the gate. And if you guys find anything a way I can word this better, fair enough. What percentage of shots fired by police in the New York Police Department are at unarmed black individuals? I could not identify a reliable statistic that shows the percentage of shots fired by the New York Police Department that are aimed at unarmed black individuals. So it's such a low number that we don't even have a statistic for it. And no, stop and frisk was done under Giuliani, and that was in the 90s, and that was quickly removed after Giuliani was out of office. Hey, Matt, congrats.
Let me bring in Aaron. 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 Let me bring in other things. Let me bring in Aaron, please.
And attack that, or you can address what I actually said.
Let me bring.
All right, I'll phrase it that way. I'll phrase it that way, Matt. Give me one moment here. I'll phrase it that way. How many unarmed black individuals are shot by New York police? All right. Couldn't locate a reliable figure for how many unarmed black individuals have been shot by New York Police Department. So, no change. No difference. None whatsoever.
In Aaron.
Crime is up 30% in New York City.
I'm going to bring in Aaron if he kills me. So let me bring in Aaron.
You can't die, Piers.
Here's my problem with Mamdani and why I call him a wolf in sheep's clothing. I'm always very distrusting of politicians who post this kind of stuff 3-4 years ago, but now want us to believe that's not their real opinion. I think that is what he genuinely feels about the NYPD. And by the way, he's allowed to. We live in a free country. He can express that view, and I believe it was honestly held. But this sudden transformation to, oh, no, I don't think the NYPD is racist. Oh, no, I don't think that they should be defunded and so on. It's just a little bit too close to when he did believe that for me to think this guy is a serious person. You know, he's
that'd be a terrible way to phrase that, Manicanton, because that you're not specifying by police. It would just be that you just say gunshots.
Haven't changed in 3 years. His desire for power has, Aaron.
Sure, yeah. I mean, people will sometimes say things to get elected. That's called being a politician. It's part of the job. And I don't know what's inside his head. I don't know what his views are. But
this dude has spent the whole time capping for Mamdani. Then he gets called out on Mamdani lies. Like, oh, that's just part of being a politician. Yeah, politicians lie. We all know that. When you know, like good goddamn well, he throws a bitch fit about every single Trump lie. The inconsistency amongst these motherfuckers, I swear, dude.
There's plenty of evidence, as Mark laid out, for why one would think that the NYPD is a racist institution. Not saying every single police officer, but institutionally is. And so I understand why he would think that. And on the issue of policy, defunding the police, Mark laid out what that means. Mamdani wants to create a Department of Community Safety, promoting community-based solutions to problems that can be handled by people in the community, which is proven. There's a long a scholarship on this about how these solutions work, and other cities do it.
There's scholarship on it. Show me an actual real-world example of where it works. Now, mind you, as an ANCAP, I'm all for private police, not government-funded in the slightest. So this isn't even me capping for the police.
And it has support among the majority of New York City councils, so it's not even a radical thing. And yeah, listen, I'm sure Mamdani is being pragmatic.
Just because it has support from majority doesn't mean it's not radical. All right? If we had a council get together and say, you know what? We support the age of consent being 9 years old. It's got majority support, so it's not radical. Motherfucker! Age of consent being 9 years old, majority or not, that's pretty fucking radical. Hashtag Islam.
In some ways, it's called being a politician. You have to make compromises sometimes. But the bottom line is this. He centered the issue of affordability. He spoke to issues that nobody else was talking about. He sent a message of hope across the country to people who are feeling left out of politics. And look what happened in New York City.
Who gives a fuck about whether a message of hope was sent across the country? He's the fucking mayor of a single city. What the rest of the country gotta do with that? The fuck that gotta do with me? Shout out Lenny Hondo becoming a member. You love to see it. Let's get you a clip, son.
You can't keep getting away with it.
Federal law overrides state law when it's a matter of national, like constitutional aspects, things that are laid out in the Constitution. Otherwise, state oversees federal.
He got more than 100,000 people to turn out for him, to volunteer, to knock on doors. So people feel connected to his message. People feel that he stands by his convictions, and he got a record turnout, almost double the number of voters turned out in this election than did 4 years ago.
But only 51% voted. Only 51% voted for him, and a large number of people voted for the other Democrat.
Only the majority.
Well, no, enough to win.
He's peddling
Wait
a bunch
a minute,
of lies.
Lindy, don't start shouting. Enough to win, but pretty close with the other Democrat candidate, who is the kind of antithesis on the Democrat side of everything Mamdani stands for, which comes back, I think, to the original point I was making.
What up,
it could be
Kaya?
a very great night for Mamdani, unquestionably, a great night for the progressive left wing of the Democratic Party. But actually, if he turns out to be a dud, as we've seen in the UK with Keir Starmer's Labour Party, and he can't deliver on the promises, and he ends up just taxing the hell out of everybody, if that happens, this could become a real millstone around the neck of the Democrats.
Well, by definition, Stoney Kenobi, 51% is a majority. It's a small majority, but it's a majority nonetheless. Now, mind you, this is 51% of an already split. So it's like, he won 50% of the Democratic votes. So between him and Cuomo, that means Cuomo got 49%, right? So he actually only won a majority of an already fractured base.
Into the midterms and then particularly the general election, I think. Lindy.
Well, listen, sure, of course, anything's possible.
President Trump has already said he's going to withhold $18 billion. Aaron, I'm talking. President Trump has already promised, he's vowed to withhold $18 billion in federal funding. Governor Hochul has also said she's not going to, go all in all the socialist policies. Where is he going to get his money from? All the billionaires are fleeing. Hundreds of thousands of people might leave New York. Where do you think he's going to get the money to fuel his boondoggle? This is absolutely insane. And by the way, I want to quote exactly what he said. This is not us putting words in his mouth. He said,
I get it. Look,
queer liberation means defund the police. And for you to have to interpret what he said and use a Zohran Mamdani dictionary to put the best light on his words is absolutely shameful. He hates Asians. He thinks they're racist.
I won't lie. I think that's retarded. The tiny hats. We say the fucking Jews, guys. We're not fucking kindergartners. We can say the Jews. The Jews use the broom of Islam to take down the West. I think that's fucking retarded. I've already made my stance on Israel and shit like very loudly on this stream already. I don't give a fuck about Israel. I think we need to get out of Israel. Don't think we need to be funding Israel. So I don't give a shit about that. But the idea that like the Jews secretly use a cabal of fucking Muslims to take out Christians, like, no, that's a big claim. There's gonna need to be serious evidence for that. I think there's zero evidence for that. Let's just say that Muslims are already doing a good enough job of that on their own. They don't need the Jews to help them with that, especially considering the Jews and the Muslims really love fucking killing each other. So I don't think they're gonna be like, let's stop killing each other, but pretend we're still killing each other to the to the world stage when really we're gonna secretly combine to go against the Christian. There's no evidence for that. Shout out Hypno, how you doing, homie? Hypno emojis in the chat, crew.
You'll remember.
No,
if you're a member of the look, just to remind you, if you're a member of the NYPD. Your new mayor 5 years ago said the NYPD were racist, anti-queer, and a major threat to public safety and called to defund you. In 2023, just 2 years ago, at the Democrat Socialist of America's convention, Mamdani said, we have to make clear that when the boot of the NYPD is on your neck, it's been laced by the IDF. Vinny, you're...
Wait, really? Grand Theft Auto 6 getting delayed? No, I'll look into that after this video.
Final thought on that.
That was 100% correct. He's referring to the fact that the NYPD was
by the IDF. Because Piers, I don't know about you. You're in New York, Piers. I'm from New York, and there's nothing that makes me happy. You know what makes me comfortable, Piers? That if I'm getting stabbed or burned to death on the subway. I want a social worker to come and just...
No, that's a fucking terrible argument. No, a much better argument than this would be like, hey, if I'm getting stabbed or burned to death, I'd like to be in a city that, I don't know, doesn't not allow me to own fucking guns. I'd like to be able to defend myself and not have to run the risk of ending up like Daniel goddamn Penny. I would like a police force, if there was going to be a police force there, to not have a fucking 12-pound trigger pull on their, or 8-pound trigger pull, whatever it is, a stupidly high-pressure trigger pull on their fucking guns, which is what's mandated in New York. It's 8 pounds or 12 pounds, I don't remember which. Either way, that's a stupid high-pressure trigger pull. That's what I would like.
Calm the murderer down, okay? If you never lived in New York and you've never been on a subway, don't talk to me about crime and cops being racist. They have the hardest freaking jobs
I've lived in New York
on
for
the
the last
planet.
20 years.
And look at
I
the
worked in New
stats
York.
about how
What are you
racist they
talking
are.
about?
And what are the stats? What are the odds? Give me the percentage of a cop shooting an unarmed black person in America. What's the number? It's...
By the way, for those of you that are just joining, because I see the numbers have gone up, shout out. We did try to look that number up. Even ChatGPT couldn't give us a number. It's like, yeah, we don't have any reliable statistics. Guess it don't happen that often then.
So outlandish that it's such a big thing that they're racist. Give me a break. You guys are all being duped by Mamdani, but I love what Lindy said. Lindy, I'm actually going to adopt that mindset. Is let them do it, Piers. Let them happen. They're going to freaking feel it. And all the New Yorkers that are leaving, that have all the money, when they're all left and the dust settles, and be like, wait a minute. Who's going to pay for all the free shit that Mamdani said? And you guys, they're going to feel the freaking wrath. You'll see it, Piers.
Well,
You'll
you
see
know,
it.
it's interesting. People, hang on, final point. I mean, people are trying to compare this to London, where Sadiq Khan's been mayor now, won 3 terms. Actually, it's the wrong comparison. They happen to both be Muslims, but Sadiq Khan's quite a establishment figure of the Labour Party. Go back to the start of the century to Red Ken Livingstone, who was a genuine socialist. He presided over London for 8 years, and you know what? It wasn't that bad. London survived. So whatever happens under Mamdani, I suspect, knowing New York as I do and having lived and worked here for 20-odd years, New York will survive whatever Mamdani can throw at it. And if it turns out that he has the magic touch and he can make
will not.
what nobody...
Okay, that's not true. I do believe that Mamdani has the magic touch. But being as he's a Muslim, it's a magic touch that's reserved for 9-year-old girls. Just going by the book, going by Allah, allegedly, in Minecraft.
He has done in modern times work, socialism, in New York. Who knows? You might have President Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to look forward to in 2028.
God help us.
Help us, God.
God help us.
You never know. Guys, thank you. Very spirited debate. I appreciate it all. Thank you very much.
Yeah, dude, that was painful. That was absolutely painful. Vinny was right on a lot of points, but because he was shouting about it like a fucking moron, they didn't go through. You've got what must... The dudes on the right could not be that ignorant. They've got to be deep state operatives. Or if they're not deep state operatives, then my God, they are just brainwashed, hoodwinked motherfuckers. And you have the little Asian girl in the middle who, again, I don't trust her in the slightest. She was a Democrat fundraiser for years. She jumped ship because the Biden administration was terrible. But it wasn't because she disagreed with the policy. She disagreed with the fact that they were so bad at it, they were losing. I don't think that she's got any sort of conservative ideology bone in her body. So, yeah, all in all, this was a shit show. New York is cooked. New York is, they're dunzo, gonzo. They're going to be eating motherfuckers in the street in 3 years. It's going to be, I mean, it's literally going to look like Escape from New York in the 1987 movie. But these are just my opinions. Let me know yours in the comments down below. Or let me know on X, I mean, both the word, and please do subscribe. I'm a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news every day. Not always about the current political fiascos, but anime, movies, music, Magic the Gathering, you name it. Check me out on Instagram at wordsparadise_Leon and become a member for $4.99 a month. You can join the Discord. Choose the articles we go over on a day-to-day basis. Choose the videos we react to on the Friday night live streams, and of course get involved with over 200 other vital idols. We are a bright, beautiful, glowing, vibrant community that I cannot wait to go even further, because we do care about diversity. Only one kind of diversity of thought that's interesting to you. Join the Discord, hit subscribe, and until next time, it is all here in the Nerdosphere. This has been Words of Paradise.